Childcare. Sometimes words are used too often and they start to lose their meaning. They start to lose their impact. Crisis is a good example. How often do we say something is a crisis, but it's actually not? Running out of milk is annoying, it's inconvenient, but it's not a crisis. We all have to deal with the occasional problem and even the odd emergency, so crisis is on a different level. When something reaches a critical phase, it's above and beyond the routine, day-to-day problems. When it's having serious negative consequences and the urgent action is needed, that's a crisis. And that exactly is the situation we're faced with in childcare. A crisis is that preventing parents from going to work. A crisis that is costing parents a large part of their earnings. A crisis that is depriving children of their early development. A crisis it is driving particularly women into part-time work, which is a low payment. So when we say that childcare services is in crisis, we're not overstating the problem, we are not exaggerating, we're calling it for what it is, it's a crisis. Currently parents in England and Scotland and Wales can benefit from 30 hours free childcare. That's 39 weeks of the year, but not in Northern Ireland. Neither it is a similar scheme that has been introduced by the Assembly. The Assembly's lack of urgency and action demonstrates that the value of the main parties here placed in the contribution of the working parents in the development of society. It's our children. Early childhood is a key to the brain development. During the early years of the child's life, especially in the first 1,000 days, a child's brain develops rapidly. What happens in its early years matters in its lifetime. So just like the health, education, housing, childcare is treated as a commodity which is to be successfully exploited, prevented from. Northern Ireland has come with the lowest levels of childcare provision in the island, and many of our neighbours could make significant improvements. Compared to many other European countries, we have a light years behind in our funding, our services, and our outstanding and significant universal, flexible, affordable childcare services in the child's early years of development. In the meantime, right, okay. Costs here are the second highest in Europe, and there are not enough places to go and demand to live our local parents in childcare. Parents have to have cut back in their hours, leave their jobs, or have to make short-term arrangements. Socialist countries like German Democratic Republic pioneered comprehensive childcare schemes as long as the 1940s and 1950s. Other countries are now blatantly addressing the childcare responsibilities. Sweden spends more money in their preschool budget than it does in the defence budget. Each child is guaranteed a place in the public preschool nurseries. In France are free, aged up to 3 and onwards. If women are to achieve equality in the workplace, then the child must be their priority. In the absence of the public run nurseries, the government's go-to solution is to use taxpayers' money and to subsidize to provide nurseries through the working tax credit, vouchers, and myriad of complex and complicated funding schemes riddled with caveats, expectations, exclusions and clauses. It doesn't even kick the problem further down the road. The crisis remains and it is getting worse. It is really such an earth-shattering demand to call on the fully publicly funded, affordable, flexible nursery and childcare services. We are in a serious about the first-class child strategy, then it must guarantee quality of care throughout ensuring that all those working in the childcare sector are fully qualified, have training and development opportunities, a career path, and are paid a real living wage. And while we are at it, why should we not consider childcare as a major investment in the future? That is unquestionably is. Why should we not rank it alongside the major social policy initiative and make it free to the point of delivery? Too often, critics dismiss socialists and socialism as always wanting something for nothing. Of course, a free use of childcare system would cost money and it should be paid for. We could start with collecting the billions of pounds of unpaid taxes, raising corporation tax in recognition of the benefits employers will reap from the future generations, or we could stop waging wars around the world. The estimated 40,000 billion was spent in the war in Afghanistan, which would be a good start to put it to better use of public money. Not as good as Trevor, sorry. The current hit and miss nature of childcare services significantly impacts the development of a young child at an early age. That disadvantage can't stay with them for their life. Working class families and working class children are particularly affected. The right to guarantee a start in life must be available to all. We must make that legal entitlement. Only when children's early education and development is served a high quality, central plan, publicly funded, accessible and flexible childcare system will stay with their investment in their future. Only when the parents will have security to remain in work, training and education. Only then can our society and economy fully release the benefits of the skilled, confident workforce, secure the knowledge and future generations of given the best start in life. Working class families and working class children are particularly affected. The right to guarantee it's been most important is the child's life and in the parents. So definitely is a big crisis in childcare. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ursula, for that excellent contribution.
About 10 years ago, actually more than 10 years ago now, a large group from this party, more than 70 people, travelled to Cuba to commemorate the socialist revolution in Cuba. And a group of people were selected to attend a school run for children with disabilities and special educational needs. Now, as Owen has said, Cuba is under a blockade, so some of the physical construct, the buildings that we're in were old buildings. But some of the people who attended that on behalf of the party were people who worked in the special educational needs sector here in Northern Ireland. And they were astonished by the level of contribution and commitment that was made in those schools in Cuba. It far surpassed, they said, any of the provision that we had here. So here was a small country struggling against an economic boycott that still could manage to prioritise childcare for children with special educational needs and disability and make a better fist of it than we could here, which demonstrates the reality of the society and the need for the sort of society that I said this morning we want to construct.
Thank you, Jerry. If there are no other contributions, can I call upon the next speaker on education, which is Oisin Scullion. Oisin, I'm not sure whether this is your maiden speech.